Janine Anthony joins us to talk all things AFCON. And we're going to start, Janine, with an update. We saw the minute silences yesterday in tribute to those who died in the terrible crash. Have we learned any more about exactly what went wrong?
There are feelers from the stadium that there's just been less entrances available for teaming fans who want to watch the game. That game, the Olympic Stadium, is a 60,000 capacity stadium, like I had mentioned, and it's got an 80% cap. So if you do the math, you're expecting 45 to 48,000 because that's the cap due to COVID protocols. People said there were at least 50,000 fans. However, feelers from the stadium say that a lot of the entrances were not open to at least allow those fans go in, and it's been a serpentine sort of entrance. So it meant that when the fans wanted to get in, as Cameroon got to play, they were crushed in that unfortunate incident, and it was horrific to see some kids lost their lives. But the president of CAF, Patrick Motsepe, has said that the federation and the local organizing committee must take the blame, while FIFA at this point in time sends its condolences. No quarter-final game will take place at that stadium because there are two stadia actually in Yaoundé, where the other stadium is. The other stadium is 42,500 capacity. So you can imagine how security has got to be ramped up. If that's lesser than 60,000 and there was a problem, that has they have to make sure that they get it right with the next one.
Absolute tragic incident that was, and as we mentioned, there have been tributes in the games, last night's game, including in Senegal's game with Cape Verde. And in that game, just talking about Sadio Mane before we get on to the action, and he continued to play and scored a goal as well after appearing to be briefly knocked out in this last 16 tie, because he then came off feeling dizzy and sick. Do you think there should be concerns over the concussion protocols at the Africa Cup of Nations?
The good thing about, football tournaments, continental football tournaments, is whatever happens, the great thing is leagues forerun what happens. We do know that there are concussion substitutions. Leagues. If you look at it, every league match, at least the Premier ones, about 38 games. So you have a lot of games, a lot of clashes for there to be an actual concussion problem. And for tournaments like the AFCON, you've got 7 games. Not to say that disaster can happen, but the frequency of that disaster hasn't made the federation look at that more, as against trying to get technology working, trying to get video assistant refereeing. So with that being trialed in European football with concussion subsidy, I think you can have 1 or 2 of them, and we've got 5 because of COVID. So it's baby steps, but at the same time, we do know that team doctors have to have the final say with whether players should play or not. But Mane deceived everybody in that one, because he stood up and felt really, really strong. But then again, we're happy that he's getting much, much better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you mentioned there the Premier League, they're trying these concussion substitutions. Do you think that this is something that should be adopted worldwide? Not just talking AFCON here, but it would include AFCON, of course.
Definitely. The great thing that I've noticed is how conversations like Concussion is happening about, even for women's football, how a menstrual period is affecting players as well. So these are things that in football have been not too talked about. And when you see this development, not just in technology, but also the mental health and the physical well-being of the players, we do expect that over time, or not in a very far time, these will be looked at across all tournaments. But it's really good that we're beginning to have this conversation and trial these methods to see how we can make the game more sustainable for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's come on to the Morocco-Malawi game from last night.
Oh,
there
wow.
were some spectacular goals, Janine.
You were treated.
Oh, I felt like I was scoring one myself.
Can you first just talk us through the one from Gabadinho Mango?
The celebration, everything was really interesting to see. But that it felt like that stung Morocco, because they did something else next.
Oh, yeah.
If that wasn't good enough for that game, there was another incredible goal as well from the free kick. We can show...
Absolutely sublime on the pitch.
Yeah, nicely put. Now, later today, it's Mo Salah's Egypt, who take on Ivory Coast in their round of 16. How do you see that one going, Janine?
Ooh. It's a game of 2 papers. There's the historical papers and the form paper. The form paper says Cote d'Ivoire are through to the quarter-final. The historical paper says, Janine, wait a minute. Do you know Egypt? Egypt have won this tie in the last 21 games 11 times, and Cote d'Ivoire have won this 7. But when you look at Cote d'Ivoire in this tournament, with the 4-3-3 of Max Gradel, Sebastian Haller, and as well as Nicolas Pepe, who will be going to Arsenal, such a key man, scoring the key goals for Cote d'Ivoire. That's where the problem is. They're going to play a similar 4-3-3 style, but we've seen Mo Salah a bit stifled. Not playing from his favorite corner. He's been playing right the middle, and that stifled his potency. But we saw Mane spring up to life yesterday. He might take inspiration from that. Remember, if he does really well in this tournament, he's going for the big awards. His performance in this tournament means that his team also have to play for him and for Egypt to sustain, their winning chamber. For Cote d'Ivoire, they have just about enough. They've got Sergio Rey as well in the back. It's such a star-studded team. They might have a bit too much for Egypt, but I expect to enjoy this in 90 minutes. Oh no, I don't want penalties. I just want 90 minutes and let me go eat.
This is going to be a good one.
Yeah. What do you make of how Egypt have utilised Mo Salah down the middle? We've seen him just play imperiously pretty much from the right-hand side for Liverpool. Why wouldn't they just adopt that, do you think?
Because they don't have all of the personnel to make sure that he does what he does pretty well.
Yeah.
When it comes to national team setups, you've got players who understand African football, who understand that, when it comes to hard tackling defenders, you don't want Mo Salah to be stifled. So they're trying to push him to the middle so that at least he can get those creative passes. But he's often isolated up in front. And I think that's something that they're trialing. I might see a change in this game. We'll wait and see, because it's a must-win game for him. But obviously, it's very sure and very clear that Mo Salah's strength isn't right in the middle. And hopefully if he's deployed to the right, they can get something against Cote d'Ivoire. But it'll be very, very tough.
And then this evening, Janine, it's Mali against Equatorial Guinea. How do you see this one going?
Oh, I'm very proud of Equatorial Guinea. This is the first time they're actually qualifying for a tournament that they didn't host. So imagine always going to a tournament, oh, I'm hosting this, so I have the right to be there. Now they've earned the right to be here. And they're playing a Mali side. I've got Janepo, got Yves Bissouma. Yves Bissouma was actually in the team, the Brighton man was actually in the team of the tournament for the group stage. So Equatorial Guinea will say, well, we don't care. It's all about what we can do on the pitch. But Mali have had the upper hand. Out of the 4 meetings they've had, Mali have won it 3 times. But Equatorial Guinea will look at this to say, we've had Comoros give a scare. We've got Malawi giving a scare. We got Tunisia dumping the big boys. I'm trolling myself now. Nigeria out of the tournament. So this is an opportunity to go all the way to the quarterfinal. Equatorial Guinea had gotten to the 2015 semi-final. So they feel that they can get one over Mali, who haven't been there since 2013. So it's an evenly matched game. But this is a game I actually personally see it going to penalties.
Oh, Janine.
You said you didn't want penalties
No,
earlier.
for Egypt and Ivory Coast, because I don't know who I'll support.
Oh, OK. Right. Fair enough.
Such a pleasure to have you on, as always, Janine.
Thank you.
Thank you.